Welcome and hello and welcome and hello. Let me just dispense with the pleasantries. There's simply no time, and just say welcome, hello, and welcome and hello. Give you a brief greeting, just for the sake of common courtesy. Say welcome, hello, and welcome you. Just warmly welcome you and say hello, greetings, salutations, buenas noches, welcome and hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me on this extremely special and consequential edition of Un Poco Moss. I find myself exhausted from watching this damn stock. The last 24 hours, you had the 17% gain, or plus I'm just not feeling that well, catching perhaps a little bit of a cold. It's been cold in greater Los Angeles overnight. It's been absolutely freezing. Anyway, welcome and hello, and welcome. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'm going to actually make this pretty brief. This is investing.com earnings call transcript. Of course, as you guys know, Supermicro did the business update, and they gave a lot of detail, and the transcript of the call was very, very telling. Both CEO and CFO just going into great detail. Long story short, basically they're guiding for 23.5 to 25. The midpoint was already 24.5. So though that's a downgrade from where they were. Basically what's crazy, the absolute crazy thing, and then the CFO and CEO defend this and say it's conservative throughout the earnings call, is in 2025, well, they're guiding for around 24 billion. 2026, they guide for 40 billion plus, going back to a year over year growth rate of 65% plus. So they were, it sounds like I'm making this up, but in 2022, they sold 5 billion. In 2023, 7.1. 2024, 14.9. So it's 110% growth. 2025, they're looking at 24. That'll be 54, 55%. 2026, they're saying at least 40 billion conservatively, which will be 65% year-on-year growth. And margins are about to get much better because they're coming into the beginning of a new cutting edge, product cycle, and they're coming out of a, trailing edge dying product cycle. So the margins always get lower as you come to the end of that life cycle. There's more competition, there's more inventory. The nice part is, too, on their books, the inventory went down. They paid down their bank debt. They got this, senior secured note deal at very favorable terms. This notion that they were some desperate fire sale. They have plenty of cash. Their overall debt is very low. Their bank debt is almost nothing. All their debt is these senior secured notes, which are at great terms. So they're raising debt. They're raising money, at blue chip terms here. This isn't some junk stock. The same, bondholders they had previously came back, with more money because they got paid back, and they see a company just growing, investing in itself, and, basically killing it, just crushing it. Think about going from 5 billion sales, 1, 2, 3, 4 years to 40 billion sales in only 4 years. Any other company in the AI space, even at these commodity margins, even at these lower margins, they would have a multiple putting them at least, putting the stock at least at all-time highs, 120 plus, 150. And they're going to sell this as, a failure because, the way they're borrowing today, like I said, the way they're borrowing today, 21 million net, you think they're going to attack the stock tomorrow, but I think institutions are just going to buy. I think this goes up tomorrow. I think I took the time to listen to the earnings call because I like to actually hear the people rather than just read the transcript. But the key takeaways, of course, Q2 2025 revenue surged 54% year over year. And that's disappointing somehow. 54% year-on-year growth, 70% AI-related platforms. Company revised guidance 23.5 to 25, like I said, up 7.85, whatever aftermarket. So basically, they took back all the gains today, and all the AI stuff was down. All sort of the growth stuff was down. by quite a lot. So up 17, down back 9% today, and then up 8% after hours. So it's just been this crazy topsy-turvy, again, false volatility created by market makers designed to scare and disorient impressionable, stupid retail investors and part them with their hard-earned dollars they make down at the Waffle House or wherever they happen to, draw their paycheck. No, happens to me too. Happens to the best of us. These market makers push us all around whenever they want, basically. So performance, we already went over this. Revenue, 5.6, 5.7, non-GAAP, 58 to 60, so 5% growth. Margins were down a bit, 11.9% gross margin. Operating margin was actually up. Cash position, 1.4 billion. So debt's down. The story of this company that they're crippled by debt and they can't pay their debt is just a complete false narrative. It doesn't make any sense. And, management addressed that. The reason they're raising money is just this aggressive hyper growth. When you look at a company growing just, the beginning of this decade, they're selling a couple billion, and then next year they're going to sell 40 billion. And remember, their fiscal year starts July 1st. So they're already 2 quarters and a month and a week into fiscal year 2025. So they already know these numbers. It's not that speculative. And they already know what orders are going to look like because they have all these products ready to go. They're just waiting for their allocation from NVIDIA so they can start shipping this stuff. And they talk about the fact that their liquid cooling is far superior. They have far more real world experience. No one can touch them in liquid cooling. I strongly, strongly advise you guys, if you're having reservations, listen to Uncle Chuckie. This guy is a straight genius. And, English is obviously not his first language, and he's an older guy, and he's maybe not as cool looking as like a Vlad or somebody, their fancy shoes. This is the guy I want to invest in. The guy who knows what he's talking about, who has decades in the trenches. I don't think Dell and HPE are anywhere near SMCI on liquid cooling. And he's talking about they are going to take at least 30% of the market share going forward. Just read it. They ask this question over and over, different analysts, Goldman Sachs, others. How do you get to that 40 billion? He's like, well, listen, it's not that complicated. And I'm being very conservative, and I can see how it's going to go just based on our historical growth rates. We're going to grow probably a lot faster than that based on where we are in the product cycle. So I'm being extremely conservative, saying 40 billion. And when you start to look at the numbers and you start to look at the allegations and what they've already denied and what they've shown here, and they're like, the reason we can't release, audited quarterly is because we're still waiting for the audited yearly and the first quarter, and it's all cumulative. But you're basically, they're giving you the full year guidance. They're giving you this quarter. They're giving you guidance for next quarter. So Q4 is going to be much stronger, kind of based on the guidance they're giving, or it looks stronger. They're kind of mid fives. It should be, well above 6 to get to that 24, one would think, with all due respect to Agent Jack Bauer. And I'm not talking about Charlie Kelly's cat. Oh, remember that It's Always Sunny where they were that fake cop car and they were shaking down the hot dog vendor, free hot dogs for their cat? So stupid. What's up, Marco Guzar? So, and again, just you can read different responses here, but basically, and the David Wiegland, the CFO, very solid on this call. Very, very solid in command. They basically explained, the margins. They explained the private placement. They explained, why they had to take a reduction. Like the last quarter's financials, they had to basically write down their estimates because of some inventory they had to depreciate and a purchase order that was not cancelable. So their inventory will be reduced in value. It reduced the EPS, but that wasn't from the audited stuff. That was from, basically the last quarter That's the one behind this one they're waiting for. So you just didn't see anything in there that's anywhere like even remotely approaching like a black swan event or everyone goes to prison event. Now they did disclose they are under subpoena for some documents based on this short report, and they're cooperating with that investigation. Of course, you really don't have a choice, but sure as hell, when they say they're cooperating, probably means their lawyers are fighting everything tooth and nail in court, but that's what they mean by cooperate. So when you're a sort of defendant or subject of a probe or whatever, you cooperate to the extent that you have to. But anyway, of course, I've never been investigated by any of the authorities 'cause I've never been accused of any improprieties. Bullshit. Anyway, so we expect, and they go through the expenses. It's all here. So this isn't some like vague deal. The numbers are here in great detail, and they were discussing them quite openly. So Mike Ying, Goldman Sachs. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the 40 billion 2026 outlook. What informs your confidence there? Shed any backlight? He'd say our product line continues to grow. We have industry standards pipeline, puts lots of, some of these are a little bit jumbled because this is an automatic translation, including confidential products under development. We have customer engaged with us for those projects already. So this year, even 10Ks, we grew about, with the 10K issues, we grew almost 60%. Last year, we grew 110%. So this coming year, fiscal year 26, at this moment, we believe we'll at least grow 65% at least. So that's, I believe, a very conservative estimation. And past production capacity, USA, now our utilization rate only about 55%. Taiwan, 60%. Malaysia utilization rate is still 1% only. So there's lots of room. Guys, they have been investing in themselves. They've been taking a big swim in Lake U. They are ready to absolutely crush this market. And that's what they're going to do next year. And they're, this down year, this disappointment, 54% growth year on year. Like I said, any other company, any other industry, this industry, that doesn't matter. Anywhere else you grow 110%, 54%, 65%, it would be considered absolutely extraordinary. And these violations and stuff they're trying to get them on are not a threat to the business. Probably at very worst, they're going to have to pay some fines. This does not sound like go to jail stuff. Of course, I don't know what's in there. I could be wrong. I'm merely speculating, talking out my ample posterior. So in second question, talk about the mix of Blackwell. I'm not going to go into the weeds, but they're basically talking about how they're fully ready to go, ready for production. They're just basically waiting for inventory, waiting for allocation. Appreciate it. So next, Ananda Barrel, Loop Capital. They're the ones I think just upgraded the stock. And then let me see here, guys. Question on gross margins. And obviously, yes, thank you for your question. As products become mature, like H120, H220, we have to face price competition strongly. Blackwell doesn't matter, GB220 or B220 for sure. Whenever there's a new product, our margins will become much better. And that's the cycle we're about to go into, guys, for the next several quarters. They're just going to be shipping these brand new products. You're going to have really good margins. So everything is about to come up millhouse for these guys. And especially talking about deep cooling, we believe DLC, and I won't pretend to understand what all this stuff is, guys, but they're cooling the chips, guys. They're cooling the chips. It's like when you fry potato chips and they're super, super hot, and you lay them out on a paper towel and you put a little salt on them. That's kind of a similar process to what's happening here, if you follow my analogy. We believe blah, blah, blah will max share will grow our way to 30%. 30% of this deep cooling in the next 12 months will go to Supermicro. That's what he's saying conservatively, because they're the best. And in terms of deep cooling, the last 12 months, I believe we offer the majority of global liquid cooling. We offer the global majority of liquid cooling in the last 12 months. So when faced with a Blackwire opportunity, most of the customers now do go for liquid cooling. I believe we have a much better position. Can I just throw in a point here? Hey, look, let me just add that we're focused. Hang on a second. Most of us are focused on the gross margins, but don't miss the critical point that we are driving operating margins above our targets that translates into shareholder value. Okay, operating margins are, at the end of the day, more important than gross margins. So it's really the cash the business is putting out. Not really cash, but all these terms entail different things. So just look them up. One thing I would add, what happened with H100s, Charles mentioned Supermicros, the ones that had the company's stable platform, which we became market leader, helped our margins. They crept it. The margins went up to 19%. Now, of course, we're targeting 14 to 17%. But the question is, with your point on Blackwell, what will be the competition we'll be able to deliver? And I think it's going to be a big indicator of margins. We're in a pretty good position. We've always been. I appreciate so this, again, these transcripts are not perfect. And Charles, the $40 billion. So a couple of things. You mentioned calendar year 25 could be similar to calendar year 24, which is about 40% growth. I would suggest maybe $8 billion on average September, December quarter revenue, and then 40 billion, at least 40 billion for fiscal 2026 would tend to suggest at least 12 billion on average the March, June quarters and 26 fiscal year. So what sort of are you thinking about? And then what gives you confidence? I guess this is kind of the same question over and over, the total addressable market. How do you get there? It sounds crazy. Are you nuts? Are you losing your mind? What did you do with those trees you were supposed to save when you made your vineyard? What happened to all the wine? Did you save the screaming wealthy trees? These, crazy questions. Thank you again. Whenever there are new technologies, we have a good chance to grow, right? Kind of like this time, Blackwell, right? Like DRCD cooling. Then again, we have a much higher capacity ready for liquid cooling compared with the market. And last year, we grew 110% of this year. Basically, we will grow about 60% of something, right? So next year, fiscal year, sorry, guys, I'm not feeling that well. My breath is like having some kind of a allergic reaction, but also my posture is terrible. Plus, a big man with a mini water is always a weird look. By the way, welcome and hello, guys. Welcome and hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me on this extremely special edition of Un Poco Mas, a Tuesday edition, no less. Lunes, martes, miércoles, viernes, all that stuff, guys. All those days. Todos los días, un poco más, todos los días. So next year, fiscal 26, I believe 65% is a very conservative estimation. And personally, I hope we can grow more than that, but that's to be conservative. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Next call comes from JP Morgan. SMCI, your line is open. Thanks for taking my question. It's potential revenue medium term on a quarterly basis. When I sort of look back in hindsight, it looks like what derails central growth to some extent is a product transition from NVIDIA going to one product from another, which also drove some change in customer behavior. What are you thinking about the revenue target here, 40 billion fiscal 2026? I mean, is there an underlying assumption that you wouldn't see a similar customer behavior change toward the next generation product when NVIDIA goes in transition again in the time frame? Or is there something I'm missing in sort of the overall product transition that we should expect from your GPU supplier? And then a quick follow-up. And then here's Uncle Chuckie. Yes, I mean, for calendar year 2025, I believe we should be pretty able to repeat 2023 history. In 2023, H120 launched, and we were ahead of the competition. We grew very, very well. In 2025, calendar year 2025, we are facing the same opportunity, except for our old air core is now its deep core. And basically the technology changed, but we're still ahead. That's basically what he's saying, and we're going to win again. And in terms of DUC cooling, especially DLLC, we have a major market share, and we have a huge capacity, 15 rack per month. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, 15,000 or 15 million, I don't know. Annual rack per month capacity, and we are ready. We already have customers approved, and they are quickly in our data center getting ready to deploy in high volume. So once the backware and volume production, I believe we have strong. They're like the customers, the orders are already there. They're just waiting for product. And now we are just diligently preparing all the logistics, including the system enclosure, thermal solution, for sure the GPU supply from our vendor NVIDIA. So we are all prepared once logistics ready, and we're ready to ramp our growth. Loot Capital, maybe Charles will follow up on that. And again, guys, read this for yourself. I know I'm reading it fast. It's a little too much to understand, but you have to understand how confident management was on this call. This is not sounding like a company who's going to be delisted and is worried about raising money. It sounds like a company who's absolutely just on fire. And that's the truth of the matter. And that's why you have to separate the reality from the narrative, because market makers use this narrative along with Hindenburg, the hedge funds, that they are legally, openly able to partner with Hindenburg, split profits when they create their own momentum, crush retail, get retail to sell these incredible, scary dips. Oh, they're so scary. It's mostly sour cream. What's in this onion dip? It's so good. That's just a bunch of fat. You big fat turd. Why is onion dip so good? It doesn't seem like it should be that good. A dry onion soup mixed into a tartan of sour cream. And I don't eat Hampshire sour cream because I'm from the countryside. So I only like that blue and yellow one. All the rest of the sour creams are weak sauce. Only eat Hampshire. I don't know. I don't know if it's New Hampshire. I don't know if it's like Hampshire and like Britain. I don't know what it is, but that's the best sour cream. And you mix in that dry soup. You gotta have the potato chips with ridges, because that stuff's like spackle. It's very, it's very dense. You gotta have that ridge potato chips. You get the Lays. You get those little flimsy little flat Lays, and you're just gonna be breaking. You're gonna be digging in there with your dirty fingers. It's gonna be a mess. Guys, if you need an expert on snacking, on general dips and chipsmanship, I'm your guy. Okay? Need a guy to show you around a smoker, around a grill, an offset smoker, a pellet smoker, a bullet smoker, whatever kind of smoker. Talking about a man with about 6 to 7 Weber products on his patio. And that's just where I start my grills. I know Not a Lurker knows his way around some good eats too. I seen the photos. They made me hungry. They made me drool. It's like, here's what I'm going. How quickly can you FedEx me some of that barbecue, Not a Lurker? Get on it. Anyway, guys, I think my hunger and fatness is getting the better of me, as it's wont to do. I wish my fatness wasn't so powerful. Fatness is a powerful emotion. What's that? No, we went to a Tina Turner impression. Don't need to subject you guys to that. So anyway, you can go through this. Transcript goes on and on and on, guys. I've read it like twice. It's just, if you have doubts, listen to management. I mean, they basically say they're not going to talk about the accounting stuff, and then they talk about it. They're like, we're working with BDO. We're confident we're going to file on time. We don't have to restate any previously audited financial statements. We stand behind the special committee's finding that, Ernst & Young, the reason for their resignation was not really legitimate, though we do agree with the recommendations, of the special counsel, special committee, to go ahead and hire new, CFO, compliance officer. And they've been aggressively hiring across legal, across compliance, all that stuff. So they haven't been ignoring it. I think it has humbled management. I think they have listened. But this thing is just a crazy investment right now. Vanguard knows it. BlackRock knows it. I think Goldman knows it. I think the shorts and the borrowers are on the wrong side of this thing, and I think they're going to get hung out to dry, quite honestly. Glad I didn't hedge. Quite glad I didn't hedge. Oh, mini waters. Make you feel young again. What the hell is this thing? A little 8-ounce water? I don't even know why these exist. Like, who's unable to deal with a 12-ounce water? It's like this much bigger. Why do we need this? It's ridiculous. I don't know. Hey, we're doing a free giveaway from a credit union. Yeah, but we don't want to give these fat bastards a 12-ounce water. Let's buy more. Let's buy 8-ounce waters that are double the price of 12-ounce waters. They're more expensive for per bottle. I've had enough. Over packaging, overselling, the spam calls, the traffic, the trans fats, the salts, the sugars. How many places are they going to put to eat on my ride home, Hey, fathead, stop here. What am I getting on my way home? I'm going to have a kebab. I'm going to have a pizza. I'm only going a couple of miles. I'm going to have like a chili relleno combo plate. Nice pastrami deluxe. I'm just feeling a bit peckish. Anyway, guys, I'm not really sure what I was talking about. I don't want to go through this entire transcript because it goes on for like another 5 hours, and I'm already tired and sick, and I'm getting a sore throat. But they go into the financials. They go deep into the technology. They go into why they're ahead. They go into why the demand is about to get, really ramp up. Margins are, but we're basically sitting right at the precipice of a face-ripping good time of greatness. And Uncle Chuckie knows it, and you hear it in his voice. You hear that he's confident. He has an extreme command of this subject. He's basically talking about like these other guys are, young pups. They're green behind the gills. They're wet behind the ears. They've never done this at scale. They've never deployed this stuff. They can talk about liquid cooling, but I live with liquid cooling. My uncle Chuckie is liquid cooling. I don't know what I'm talking about, guys. This is really idiotic. But what are you going to do? When you tune into Un Poco Mas, you get Un Poco Mas. It's not always pretty. Doesn't always make sense. It's not always as advertised. It's not coherent. Doesn't provide any value. Our members area is the same as this area. Lisa didn't buy more. What are you guys talking about? I can't follow these comments because I'm always looking at them backwards. No, I'm not stoned. Honest to God, I don't even know what dabs are. If you really believe, Marco, I'm sleeping a lot of nights I'm sleeping 2 hours. I'm not to say I've never tried CBD products to sleep. They didn't do anything for me. They didn't work. It's only a few things that work. You know what I mean? But anyway, guys, no, I would never use drugs before this broadcast. It's absolutely sacrilege. Let's see. But I appreciate my my moniker, Danny Dabs, from the great Marco Guzar, who seems to know his way around a bong. Let's see. Here with this massive swinging wrench, he needs a timeout. Put your pants back on, Alberto. It's not that kind of show. Lisa's not impressed, man. Let's see. I can't read these comments. There's so many comments. The font is so small. These glasses, I need glasses that actually work at the correct distance. I have a thing where I don't have my glasses. I can see this. I can have this. Oh, it's ridiculous. Add the position at 40. That's a tough one, Jason. I mean, I really think the stock is going to go up, but I think if you look at the borrowing from today, 22 million shares, it indicates to me they're not done trying to push down. Why would they borrow all those shares? They already knew what was coming with these numbers. I mean, they gave us this stuff a while. They didn't know what was coming, with the sort of write down on the estimates for Q4. I just don't think there's a lot of surprises here. I just think this is all fake volatility, market makers taking us for a ride or trying to. I don't know if I'd be inclined to buy over 40. I think they might push down, but I think this should run up tomorrow again. I mean, I think that little resistance point just below 50, it's going to fall. It has to fall. Even if you just sort of carry the earnings forward. I mean, if you look at what they were earning at 14 billion, you sort of look 50 cents a quarter. They're going to double sales. EPS is going to grow quite rapidly, 2026, 2027. At least it sounds like it is. I don't think the fraud's there. I don't think the criminality's there. I don't think any of the stuff, the bears were hoping for in this Hindenburg thing. Hindenburg closed up shop. Took these huge short-term profits they make and rode off into the sunset. Along with their hedge fund buddy, they closed their position. Of course, they're going to close their position at 18 or 19. They created this drop. You create the drop and you trade it. How is this legal? Nobody cares what I say. Nobody cares about Un Poco Mas. Nobody cares about Danny Dabs. I'm candy flipping. I'm on MDMA. I'm not, folks. Comic fan again says they're cooking the books. I do not have an SMCI hat, Carl. I'm working on a Carl Seamark hat right now, the Mattress King of Chicago. That's my first priority. Yep. I mean, you're going to see these audited statements, comic fan again, and I think you're completely wrong. So I think, yes, they have been cooking the books to some extent, and they had to, again, do a write-down. But I think they're going to be honest from now on because they have no choice. They're about to be delisted. They have a tremendous amount of the stock in this family. It does not make any sense for them to kill the company, delist the company, take the company private, They lose access to the capital markets. They lose access to everything that the reason you want to be a CEO of a publicly held company. They don't want to be on the pink sheets. Pink sheets are for cheap bridal suites at motels in Vegas. Elvis impersonators marrying you. Anyway, guys, I encourage you to read this, but look at the guidance. Extremely conservative. 2026, that year, that fiscal year starts for them this coming July. In less than 5 months, that year starts, and they're guiding for 40 billion. Just coming off 5 billion in 2022. The growth of this company's top line is staggering. And the bottom line is going to follow because they've been investing recently for the growth that's to come now. And the margins are about to improve. Top line, bottom line, every other line. Line in the sand. Yeah, that's really about all I've got. Let's see if there's any other fairly intelligent comments here. I have to speak with French, Italian, Spanish business folks. Their English is just hard to understand, but people don't complain as bad as they do with Chinese. Not sure. Confident. Veritiv's liquid cooling tech they just announced will fail hard compared to. I completely agree with you. But Veritiv, I always say that wrong, or pronounce it wrong, but they're a good company, but I don't think they just are young pups compared to do not like and subscribe. Do not like and subscribe, whatever you do. Hey, Not a Lurker says we're almost at 4K subs. Want to thank Not a Lurker for driving the growth of this show. I know her, and also everyone else in Alberto, Bertie, Avles, of course, the Great Princess J, QT. Also, anyone else who shouts us out on Twitter. As you know, I don't have like social media presence. I'm a big idiot. So anybody who kind of publicizes the show, that's really cool. Thank you very much. Uncle Chuckie gonna make me some money. He is gonna make you a bunch of money. The Ring and the Wrench Master couldn't understand half of what he's kind of hard to understand. Read the transcript, Carl. But you do get from him talking that he has a serious command of this subject matter and their financials. The guy's a freaky genius, I'm telling you. Mr. Premium, not out of third W, please, please, please. Nala Beach, Potato, Danny's half brother, Shaq, make regular waters look small. Lisa, big mistake, huge. Danny Stone again, he's got the munchies. You're half right. Beachy, how about Nala's wacky wild wings aside of wrench? Marco, what do you mean again? He thinks I'm on dabs. Marco always thinks I'm on dabs. Believe it or not, Marco, some people at the end of the day, like I also have these like red things here. I like, take my glasses off and I rub my eyes. I get like constantly doing that. So it's really murder on my eyes after doing that since like I get up and start work at like 3 a.m. a lot of times. So, don't assume too much. Like there's no way you can do what I do and be impaired or infarcted or impacted. But anyway, a vape with a special sauce. Yeah, there's so many things now, guys. They don't even like smoke, pot anymore. It's always just like electronic stuff, which is CBD. They have that too, but I don't know, guys. Whatever drugs you're on. I mean, I know a lot of people are on these pills, and everyone around here where I am is just drunk all the time. So I don't know, man. Not really judging anybody, but yeah, I gotta be sharp. I gotta look sharp. I gotta think sharp. I gotta feel sharp. I gotta be sharp. Part of being a chunky stock monkey, a flunky nonetheless. Oh snap! There he is. Premium the option. Oh snap! Oh snap! Was that guy in the Kroll show, Bobby Bottle? Oh snap! Lisa S.A. Charles my honey. There he is. Not a lurker. See charted travel. Thanks for joining us. ET Val. I bought some SMCI. Thanks to Bowtie Nation in November. I was taking a dump and suddenly it dawned on me this is a once in a blue moon opportunity. Bought 140,000 worth at the time, $20. Yeah, I also saw. I like the Bowtie Nation. What's it? Joseph Hogue. Is that it? Premium will fit down. Alberto, wifey heart. I believe that is directed at one Lisa. Let's see. Whispering puppy. Let's go. Charge travel. Danny Deals. Pal Dancer. Beach of the Potato. Book and Tackles. Actually, one of the biggest reasons because it helped build a $50 million Ingor grow. Marco Guzar is a cannabis aficionado, dabbing his way to fun and profits. Not a lurker. Sub and like, don't sub and like only. Not a lurker's channel. He goes into extreme detail. He does 3 and 4 hour head shaving tutorials. It is quite riveting. Requires a lot of power cooling, so it made a lot of sense. Yeah, I guess Marco Guzar has those pot growing warehouses. I know that's huge business out in like Lancaster, Barstow. They just have these massive places. They just grow pot and process it into these, I guess CBDs and dabs and everything else these kids are, pumping on all the time. I want to ride off into the sunset, but at 200, yeah, it could happen. You got to give it quite a bit of time on 200. I can't make much more, Danny. I'm on the border of loving you. I hope you're talking to Lisa, Alberto. I think you are. Marco Guzar, and seriously, if you don't like and sub, I'll find you. Dude, Marco's going to track you down, smoke some dabs with you, tell you a bunch of stories, probably bend your ear, bore your head off. You don't want that. Marco wants you to like and sub. I say don't like and sub, but you have to decide who has more credibility, me or Marco. Alberto's getting all hot and sweaty right now. We're almost to 4K subs. A2 watching. We don't even know thumbs. They don't have your thumbs. They're not hit checking. They lost their thumbs in a very unfortunate Vitamix accident many, many years ago. Let's get this number $460 to rates calls for serious premium. Man, I didn't get a lure, so I'm late. It happens, Brian with the Y. Don't worry about it. Brian's late. Dunce cap, side of the corner for you. I don't care about his accent. I keep saying billions of dollars. Exactly, man. I like his accent. I respect the fact that like an immigrant comes here, maybe doesn't speak the language, ends up being a billionaire, building this great company, employing thousands and thousands of people off different continents, fueling a revolution in AI. Respect, Charles. Respect, Sarah. Respect. You respect immigrants who come here and work their balls off and crush it. Dude, I was fat and lucky enough to just be my fat, happy ass to be born right here, And I didn't build some billion-dollar company. I'm akin to a carnival barker. Let's see. I don't care about it. Yep, read that one. Lose glasses. Take the cannoli. Like your comments. Yeah, Marco Guzar. He's a quality viewer, quality commenter. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thank you, and Beach Boy, of course, a legend in the Unpoco Moss community. The great Beach Boy. Premium speaks the truth, right? And write some more. Yeah, guys. When this goes, we were talking about 50. When this goes up to about $50, I'm going to start writing covered calls. I have a ton of. I don't know, thousands of long shares, but I got to look up how many. I got them across a couple accounts. I don't think I have any more water. Got a little bit of this quote unquote was sparkling water. I know, Jeremy. I thought we were going to get the new CFO, but man, the CFO, this crooked guy, to say allegedly, he sounds very sharp. Bookend tackles back from the days of Doobies when he was twisting one up, the old way, passing it to the left-hand side. Now you're handing off some kind of electronic computer. Hey, did you remember to charge your joint? What? You mean light it? Nope, charge it. What is that? USB-C? Is that Mac? What do you need? What do you do if you're at a concert? Like, I remember when I was at a concert in the 90s, everybody was smoking. What do they do now? They come in with just some battery pack. I hate kids, man. I hate young people. I can't even do drugs right. Got to ruin that too. Anyway, guys, don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Bad. It's bad. Drugs bad. Drugs bad. Unless you're Mario Guzar growing dabs in the desert, making billions. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Probably doubles as a Bitcoin holder. Payush is making a fortune thanks to John Candy. I assume he's calling me John Candy because I'm a fat, jovial white guy. Oh my gosh, we're graced with a very lucky. It's cute. Who is that at my feet? It's the great QT. And who is that up here? Okay, Princess J, of course. Guys, anyway, it's not that. It's I'm just so tired of talking to you guys. I really can't stand you. I hate almost all of you. Reg dude, he's okay. We're going to watch the replay. Lisa, we like. I definitely hate the rest of you. I love Payush. E.T. Val's pretty good. He is a genius, maybe even smarter than Jensen and Lisa. He's not, as long as you don't say he's smarter than Alberto. As long as you don't say that, E.T. Val. Don't go there, you bastard. How dare you? But anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you watching. Separate facts from fiction. Separate narrative from bullshit. Separate, your ass from a hole in the ground. Separate yourself from me, whatever you do. I don't care. Peace.